Hey guys, it's Sam. Kind of long time no see. I haven't been around for a couple of reasons. One, my denial of ever going back to any kind of planner chaos turned out to not come true. And when I'm struggling the most, I feel like I don't feel as comfortable coming on. That was a big sigh, dog. I agree, Max. I don't feel like coming on in like the heat of my chaos. I sometimes do, but I usually don't because I just feel like I only have like more confusion to throw someone's way who is in the same place as I am. And sometimes I like to come on when I'm in the midst of confusion because I feel like talking it out sometimes solves some problems. But I was so sure that the last solution that I came up with was going to be the one. And when I was like, okay, well, this is not going to be it, I was like, I don't want to come back and admit failure again. I don't feel like I'm a prideful person, but I guess feeling like a failure is, I don't know, there's still some pride attached to it, but I was like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm going to have to figure it out before I come back and chat. And the other thing is just, I am focused on my fitness and my working out, and I don't, everybody only has so many hours in a day, and sometimes it's just difficult to put the time to the side to film a video. So I had some thoughts over the last few days. I did write down what I wanted to talk about, but I have a tendency to go off and bunny trail anyway. So I have my hot tea sweetened with stevia here, and I would suggest you grabbing something to drink or snack as well, because I have no idea where this video might end or how long it will be. So I just wanted to come in and talk to you guys today about why my planner system fails. And I feel like I've made some of these revelations like along the way, but sometimes I forget about them. I took notes and I am hopefully going to put them in my planner so that I can come back and help reference myself to what causes me trouble. And I'm hoping that it resonates with you or helps you in some way to help you not go through what I have been going through lately. So if you stuck around this long, hi guys, my name is Sam. If you are new here, welcome into the chaos and planner confusion world. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me again. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Why my planner system fails. I don't remember some of the key problems that I have, and forgetting those things leads me off of like the course that I have set for myself. And I do it with good intentions, thinking that I haven't found the one, or I haven't tried the right combination, or what have you, and I'm like searching for the perfect thing. And there is no perfect planning system out there. We hurt ourselves in thinking that when we are going through the planner struggles, that it's the fault of the system. And I think that we can make any system work if we like really tried hard enough. But the problem is like knowing how we learn, how we best plan, and some of the pitfalls that come up along the way that derail our planner piece. Or I don't know that that really exists, but it's planner contentment, or being able to be in content in what you're using for the season that you are using it. So although there are other planning systems out there, I have found myself bouncing between, for the last few years, actually, the world of book-bound planning and the world of ring-bound planning. So these are my key problems. The ring-bound planners work best for me for planning as far as brain dumping, writing things down, not stressing about what it looks like, keeping everything out of my head and into pages. But the problem starts where I want to have a book-bound system to flip through. I have talked about it a lot in the past, but I am not like I'm not the write out pages and pages of journaling thoughts kind of person. But book-bound planners do for me what a long form journal cannot do. And that is that I feel like I'm record keeping my memories if I use a system like this. I don't like using multiple planners. So what generally happens is I pick one or the other, something about that thing doesn't suit me, and I tell myself, you have to choose one because you don't like to use multiple planners. And so I try to force myself into using one or the other. And so I have like a planning brain and a memory keeping brain. And when I try to force myself into one or the other, something fails. It's just how my brain works. So they work differently for me for different reasons. And because they work differently for me for different reasons, there's like a disconnect for switching from one to the other. And I think that I need to just try to remember this. So what happens is I will be like, okay, well, I'm not feeling the memory pull or the romantic, angle of journaling in the ring bound planner. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use a ring bound planner anymore. I'm going to move back and try to do the Hobonichi weeks. And then I'll go into the Hobonichi weeks and I'll be writing in it, but then I'll stop. And I won't write down anything in it because that's where I want it to come back and look nice. And this is where I want to put stickers and this is where I want to put memories. And then I think to myself, okay, I'm just not going to write in it. And then I'll wait till the end of the day and then I won't have written anything down. And now I'm forgetting things. And then I don't know what to come back and write for the day. That would be my memory because I failed writing anything in paralysis of not writing down the right things because it's a bound book. So it's limited, right? And that's like where I get to. So then what will happen is I'll go back to the ring bound planner to write all of my thoughts out and to trash up and not worry about the way it looks. And then I'll be like, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll write these things down that were most important for the day and put them in my book bound planner. And then as I'm going through my book bound planner, I get like all of those romantic feels about, look at all of this stuff that's in here. And, I try to make it look nicer than my rings. And I think, why would I not? Why would I not want to carry this with me everywhere all of the time? And then I'm like, no, just use this. And I forget what led me here to begin with. And I don't ever think like sensical. Is that a word? I don't ever make sense of things in that these things just have to be separate for my mind to work. So where I last left you was that I was going to use my Hobonichi weeks as my only planner and I was going to force myself to use it only for a month. And I made it a few weeks. I'm actually pretty proud of myself for how far I made it. And then I was using this little notebook, the little infamous $1 notebook, which honestly I bought thinking that I was going to absolutely hate it. This was going to be a joke. And I had been more consistent with this than most things. And I was having this with me to like look at my appointments and plans. And then I was having this be like my long form. I'm writing this stuff down that I need to do every day. Different appointments and such. And it works really, really well. But what I found was that I was really not writing anything down in the weeks throughout the day. And then I kind of came to the point where I was like, well, why am I carrying a planner at all? Do I even need a planner anymore? And I started having a conversation with a good friend, actually two good friends, and we were having this discussion in a text thread that the one friend had basically quit planning altogether, and she's feeling very settled and free with that. And so I was like, do I need to quit? I mean, it's not as if through all the struggles that I've had lately that I haven't thought of that. So this isn't like a new idea. Stop planning. I really have thought about it, but a lot of people have like different hobbies, like some people knit or crochet and keep a garden and do all of these things. But like outside of like reading and now being very serious about my fitness and working out, like this is it for me. And I don't know that at this point I'm ready to pull the plug and say that I'm not going to plan anymore. I feel like I still take just enough pleasure from this above the stress that I find myself dealing with, so that I am not yet ready to say goodbye to the whole thing. So I carried this alone for a few days, and although I really like it and I like the paper and I feel like I can just kind of whatever out on the page, I was still missing like the planning aspect, because this is just a blank notebook, and you can't, I mean, you could go through and predate it, but that's a lot of work. And then if you go through and predate the whole thing, then you're taking away the like scratch out the whatever and tear out the page non-stress of having a book that isn't bound would give you. And so this is super lightweight and it doesn't take up a lot of space. So what I've just conceded to the fact is that this is going to be something that's always in my bag, and I will take it out and use it as needed. But this can't be a replacement, at least not at this time, for a planner for me. So the truth is that the weeks or some kind of book-bound planning or book-bound planner needs to be an after-the-fact book, whether I come back in daily, weekly, or monthly and backlog pages. That's how I prefer this book. And as much as I get like the romantic feelings about being in it and filling up the pages, that's not the same as carrying it day to day for me and feeling like I've messed something up, or did I really need to put that information in it, or I've put information in it and then something like bigger happens at the end of the day and then I'm like, oh, I'm all out of space. I mean, that really happens. And it doesn't happen as much because I don't have a lot going on day to day, but as you can see, these little spots where I put some memories, like I know for a fact that on a couple of these days I wish that I had more room. I barely fit in what I really wanted to say here, and I could go and use a daily journal. I am considering, because I find the A6 sometimes not big enough. I have considered 2 things for next year, but I'm concerned about it because I'm not consistent with journaling. But I have considered either using a cousin next year or the larger version of the daily Moleskine, because the lines are wider, I don't have to worry about the paper as much. And so I've considered going one of those 2 routes for like longer form journaling. Even still, if I add like a journal, which doesn't for me have to be like writing all of these eloquent things, but like the notes to myself about my fitness journey and things like that are important to me. It's only going to take me a few minutes to fill this up. And if it takes me longer because I've gone weeks instead of, a week or a day without filling it in, then it's still not like a huge amount of work to fill these pages in. It's small. So I really could do multiple things in a day. I just need to wrap my head around the fact of like checking in and doing multiple things in a day. So this one needs to be an after the fact book, and the rings, whether that be just the weekly pages or daily pages added, I kind of go back and forth with which one I want to do. This is the place where I can collect the information that I need the easiest, and log the most important information in these non-bound books. So this is just what I think is going to work best for me. I don't have to fill a page up. These aren't meant to. I do share them on Instagram just because I think that it's nice to see what other people's planning pages look like. But these my goal isn't to make them aesthetic or whatever. I did find that even though these pages from Peanuts Planner Co. are my favorite planning pages, that there was, in my opinion, one flaw in them. So I know that I don't have a lot going on each day for appointments because I just don't have a lot of appointments. I do love to do my tracking, and I do like to be able to see things quick. And I do the same thing in my Hobonichi weeks. It's just a little bit different form factor because of the horizontal layout and all of that. But I like to track things. I like to, I used to put my meals, but I don't anymore. So now I track my workouts instead of like what we're eating. So these are the same things that are going into this book as that are going into this ring bound planner. So I don't need as much room for the dailies, because that's going to mainly be appointments. And if I have like a really busy day, I can either use daily pages in my rings, or I can pull out this notebook and write things down. So all of that will work in rings. But what I was finding is that I really got annoyed with the skinny columns. I really messed this page up. I had a sticky note attached to it, and when I went to pull it up, the paper failed. But anyway, writing out like my to-dos, I don't like feeling like I need to abbreviate. So a lot of my problems going back to rings was trying to decide which size, because I was between Pocket Plus and A6 and Personal. And I do like Pocket Plus, but sometimes it just feels too small. And I do like A6, but something about the way it feels in my hand I don't like as much as I like the feeling of the way Personal Rings is sized. The downside, and the thing that was going to make me fail, was the skinny columns where I need to try to brain dump. And I realized that this is like such a small, minute thing, but it was like the missing piece to my planner puzzle. So I reached out and did a custom with Peanuts Planner Co., which she was so kind and got back super quick for a custom. So I wanted everything the same, as this is her freebie. So you get this freebie by joining the Peanuts Planner Co. Facebook group. I already had been for a few years now slightly altering this. This is not the font that comes standard. This is not where the Monday, whatever, the day of the week is configured differently in her file. And then, so I changed all of the fonts and the way the week is aligned. So I already knew how to like change it, but I couldn't change this. So I was like, I want the freebie exactly as it comes. I just would like for the 2 columns to become 1 column. I don't need to put my shopping list here. Can really easily put my shopping list in here or on any other blank scratch piece of paper. And I don't think that it's necessarily important for me, because I do keep these to look through and know what I needed to shop for. That brings back like no memories for me or good feelings or anything like that. But what I needed was space to write things out, but not abbreviated. So this was my one change. And then I went through and edited it again, because I didn't mention to her that I change where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are in the freebie. So she sent it to me the way she would normally have it available through the freebies section. So what I have done is I did increase the font just a little bit, and I italicized the days. I went with the font that she included with this, which is one of the options that she gives. And then I added the words schedule, fitness, and this week. So I am really excited this week to try out this planner layout with these more long form, write out exactly what I need to, instead of abbreviating all of the things that I need to do during any given week. That's my problem with planning in myself, that I forget why one thing works and the other doesn't, and that I need to have multiple things. And it's okay. Like, I haven't been in my Hobonichi weeks in a couple of weeks now. So let's see how far behind I am. And I thought about this the other night. But you know, when you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work, and you work until 5 o'clock in the evening, and then you come home and you do a workout and you want to spend time with your husband, and you know, you're unwinding for the day, sometimes you just don't feel like then writing down things in another book. And I'm never like angry with myself when I do, because I know that it only takes a few minutes, but sometimes there's like the mental block of I don't want to feel like they have another chore that I have to do. So I didn't use it at all this week, and I hadn't obviously filled in anything for the few days prior to that. I don't know if it was because I wasn't busy, or I found nothing to write down, or if it was because I just wasn't using it. So I do plan to place an order in the Hobonichi launch. I'm not going to go crazy, But I also feel like I don't have my plans solidified for next year. And I kind of hate that because I don't want to waste money on my planners. And I want this to be the year that I spend the least for 2024. And I say that, but here I am thinking, do I need a large pocket Moleskine? Do I need a Hobonichi Cousin? I'm going to get a Weeks. Maybe I should get a Fitness Weeks. And I'm like, I can already see it. I already have a pre-order for a Weeks knockoff and another notebook from another company. And I'm just like, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. But it's also fun to experiment and try to see if something is going to be better than what you have been using. But I think that historically, I know that I love the Hobonichi Weeks. I really do. I don't enjoy writing in it day to day as much as I do enjoy writing in my personal rings, because I have that no fuss paper that I have added to my rings. I really like being able to make an entire section for my fitness and changing that up at any given moment, and keeping track of all of those things and being able to purchase any tracker or any insert and add it in. It just, rings is really good for things like that. But it's not as much going back through and looking at the crinkly pages and the memories. So I need to be able to keep both in my life and to learn from this. I will keep the paper in my planner to help me realize. And then as far as like being unsure if personal rings is the right fit because the page isn't as wide, which I almost moved to Franklin Covey Compact. I did order in my my custom Franklin Covey Compact just in case I feel like I need to bump up the size. But I think that this is going to work out well because historically rings is good for me and this bound book is good for me. It's just they're good for me in different ways. And I need to remember that, because I guess all of this is summed up to say that I am the reason why my planner system fails, because it's not like I don't know these things. It's not like I haven't made these kind of mental notes for myself or even written this down. It's just that in my stress of feeling like something doesn't feel right, I tend to be like, okay, well, we have to start from scratch then. We have to throw everything out. Maybe I just need to search for the new thing. And this planner that I've never tried before is going to be the answer to everything, even if I know in my heart that that's not true. So I have the answers right in front of me. I just am looking for a solution, I guess, that's going to give me all of the things in one. And I just don't think that that's possible. I think that for the way my brain works, I just need to keep these separate systems and just keep up with them, and then not think I need to have an end-all be-all planner, but a system that I know works for me. I think I got that out faster than I thought that I was going to get to my points there. Okay, I don't think I did so horrible on time. It's not the shortest video ever, but I also didn't yammer on for 45 minutes or anything. So what do you think? Do you have just one system that you use and nothing else is added to your system? I feel like not a lot of people do, but I'm really proud of you if you do. That's amazing, but that's just not going to be me. So I'm really anxious to hear what your thoughts are, where you are in your planning system right now. What are you thinking for 2024? I mean, if you never thought of planning in late August before, the introduction of Hobonichi globally has had people thinking of what their planners are going to be earlier than any other time, I think. So I feel like we're all kind of okay, it's time to make our decisions. So I'd love to hear what yours are so far, because I know they're always subject to change, right? I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new around here and don't want to miss out on future videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much as always for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye guys.